We have a really tough opponent tomorrow night. We'll have to play really well to win. They are extremely talented on offense. They're well coached. Coach Bruno has a great program. They are a perennial top 25 NCAA tournament team, and watching them on film has really gotten our attention. It's going to be a tough game. We are going to need to be really in sync defensively to try to slow DePaul down. So it's going to be a huge challenge for us. We're excited to be playing in Rupp Arena. We want to thank everyone who's bought a ticket already. Really appreciative of that. It's going to be a record-setting night for us attendance-wise, so that is exciting for our players. Want to encourage everyone who doesn't have a ticket to get out there, and we'd love to make this the most well-attended women's basketball game in the country this year. So we have a chance to do that, and we're really trying to impress upon our players the importance of a sharp and focused and aggressive effort tomorrow night to really honor all these folks that have put so much into getting out and watching this game. So we're looking forward to it.
Do we have to have a microphone?
Could you talk a little bit about Anna Martin? Did you recruit her, and then now what do you see from her now that she's in college?
We did recruit Anna and tried to get her to come to Kentucky, and got to know her and her family, and they are outstanding people. Anna's had an outstanding career at DePaul, and you know, a lot of those players during that time, there wasn't a whole lot but a dream here to go on. So we understand that, you know, different people want to do different things. So we did recruit her, and I wish she had come to Kentucky, and wish we weren't playing against her tomorrow night, because she is a great player. But I think it's worked out well for her, and obviously it's worked out well for us as far as what's happened during her 4 years and the 4 years that we've been playing here. So very much, we have very much respect for her and her game and her ability, and she's had a terrific career. We hope she doesn't play well tomorrow night.
Do you feel like you have a point guard?
We are 7 games in. I guess this will be our 8th, and it's not where I'd like for it to be, but it's there's nothing we can do about it except for go into practice every single day and see if we can coach a little bit better and see if our players can play a little bit better, and we're just going to have to get this thing figured out together. But
Do you have to have just one, though? I mean, do you have to have like kind of a go-to point guard, do you think, by the end of the season, or do you think by committee could work out?
Yeah, by committee could. We've done it before. I would prefer, for my own comfort, I'd like to have one person that I knew going into the game wanted to do a great job at that position, and there's a lot of things that go into that. And I think that everybody that's playing the position now would like to do well, but I'm having a hard time, and maybe that's a lot on me, of having people that really want to play the position the way it needs to be played, in my opinion. So, you know, can we win games how we are right now? We have. I would like to see further development in that area.
The last play at Louisville, both you said you didn't call a play. Janae said that she couldn't think of a play to run. Were you? I mean, what were you hoping to do there? And if you had a point guard, would that have changed anything?
Well, I called a play initially,
okay,
and it went very similar to most possessions in the game, where we did not execute the play. And Janae was being totally honest when she says she doesn't know the plays and doesn't know what play to get in. That's a very accurate assessment, and that's why we are in the shape we're in point guard-wise right now, because they don't. And that's really a major problem and challenge that we're facing. And so that tells you a little bit about where we are at point guard, is that our point guards don't take it seriously enough to know we don't have a lot of plays. I mean, we've been here before. I can remember Carly and Victoria were talking at pregame one time in their junior year, and they sat and counted up the sets that we had, and it was up in the 40s. And we couldn't run those great, but most people knew them. And we're really, really struggling in that area. And so we did not play cohesively at Louisville. We are so fortunate that we won that game. We made a bunch of outstanding individual plays, and that will eventually catch up with you. We need to play much, much better than we're playing, and we're going to have to play really well Friday night to win.
That's the thing that really stuck out with DePaul was I think they have 19 assists a game or something. I mean, sort of an astronomical number. Is that the kind of team you need to become, or are you happier just with these one-on-one kind of individual plays? Or?
Well, we want to win at the end of the day, and sometimes I get caught up. Let me say this: there's a way I'd like to play. I would like for it to look like we are intelligent, in tune, focused basketball players. If that doesn't happen, you better be just a bunch of junkyard dogs, and you better be a great offensive rebounding team, and you better be a great defensive team, and you better be a real tough transition team, both offense and defense, and we've won that way before too. So what I told the players is I've been very patient with them offensively. I've spent a lot of time teaching, and at some point your pupils have to be willing participants, or it doesn't matter how much I know, it matters how much I can teach them and them absorb. So they only have a couple of choices: either get going here and start playing together offensively and focusing and doing, each person has a hand in the possession, or we better become the most aggressive offensive rebounding team. And I think we could be, but we're not doing either right now, and that's a challenge that we face.
How many sets do you have now? You said there were 40 back in the
No,
day.
it's not many. We're under 10. We're under 10.
Kind of frustrated. Has it been that kind of week in practice, or?
Well, if you go back and look at the Louisville game, they're a good team, and they do a good job of trying to take you out of things, but we're not sharp. It's sort of amazing that you're not focused for that game, but it was not a pretty performance. We're really, really fortunate that we won that game. Very fortunate. And I'm thrilled that we did win the game, and I'm not trying to be, rain on anyone's parade here, but the film doesn't lie. It was not where we need it to be. So part of that's my job, to make sure we're holding people accountable, and I need to do a really good job of that, because trying to find the right buttons to push has not worked up to this point. So we need to get that together in a hurry.
This weekend's probably the closest in non-conference play of what it's going to be like in SEC, with two quality opponents and a short turnaround. I mean, what do you need to get out of both games, really? Well,
that's a great, great point, and we mentioned that to the players when we were getting off the bus in Louisville, when we got back from Louisville. This is exactly like an NCAA tournament weekend. It's two really good teams. This is a lot about your preparation leading up to the first game, because the second game is going to be far more mental preparation than physical. And it's a tough weekend, but it's a great challenge. We wanted it this weekend. We wanted our team to have to be in this kind of setting. And so we've tried to put everything we can into practice this week, get better. And I think our players just need to decide that they're going to be mentally focused and be responsible for what they need to do out there. And I just think that we have too many right now on offense that kind of stand and watch. And so this is a great, great weekend for us to show that, mentally, if we can apply ourselves, I think we can have great success. But this is a big, big challenging weekend for us.
After you just fans from 15,000 people in Louisville, 15,000 plus, can you prepare your team mentally at all playing the game like you do?
That's one of the impressive things to come out of the Louisville game, and coming out with a victory was very impressive because that was a great home crowd for Louisville, and that's the way it ought to be. That ought to be. They made it very difficult on us. They were hostile in a great way. They were not, they were really on us when we ran out on the floor. It was tough, and it was a tough energy in there for the visitor, and that's the way it ought to be. And we want it to be that way Friday night for DePaul. We want them to be in a very, very difficult, tough environment. We need the crowd to be loud and energetic. But I thought our players handled it very well. I thought we, as poor as our focus was and sharpness on offense, we had some very tough defensive possessions. We made some very tough plays in the game to win. And I think, a great example was when we had the controversy on the three-point shot. It looked like we had a stop there and the game was 3. Now it goes to 6. And I just told them, we have to come back down here and score. We have to come and answer. And the crowd's into it and they're excited. They just got that play. And we came down and answered and scored. That's the kind of toughness that we possess. And instead of waiting until your back is just totally against the wall, we just need to exhibit that throughout the game. So I think there are a lot of great things to take from the Louisville game about how good a team we can be, because we made some tough plays in that game.
I know we've talked about this in the past, but I've got people asking me again. You're going to have a great crowd by all appearances at Rupp Arena. People are already wondering, why, since the program is reaching these new heights, why not go ahead and play all your games down there?
Well, there's a few things going on there with that, and I'll try my best to answer it. One is that our record in Memorial Coliseum and the excitement that's in that building and our average attendance right now in Memorial, an average paid attendance doesn't exceed the capacity. So we used to play 5 and 6 games down at Rupp Arena, and we would get some very nice crowds of 6,000 and 7,000, and that's a fantastic crowd. We're so fortunate to be in a place where 6,000 or 7,000 people will show up to watch you play, because that doesn't happen everywhere in the country for a lot of women's basketball teams and a lot of men's basketball teams. We are very fortunate. But until you can't get inside Memorial Coliseum, and that would be a goal of ours, is to make it that way, where you just can't get a ticket. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do anything but what we're doing right now. And, we didn't go down there for a long time until we felt like we had a team that could get a crowd like we're going to have tomorrow night. So I think it might be as simple as math that until we had 4 sellouts down here, I think last year. We had the one that would have exceeded anything down here. So, 5 sellout crowds is fantastic, but that's not 17 sellout crowds. And so until we get to that point, or let me say this, until Mr. Barnhart says we're playing all our games down at Rupp Arena, we'll just do whatever he says to do. If that's what he wants to do, that's what we'll do. But in my mind, that's why we're at Memorial, and the record's been pretty good.
You feel like, too, that this kind of gives you the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, you go into Rupp, it's a big event. And you
Correct.
come back to the Coliseum, and it's still a good place.
Exactly, and I think people love coming to Memorial. I think people love coming down here. It's a great experience. It's a unique experience. It's one of the great venues in college basketball. And then I think a lot of people circle this on their calendar. It's one night a year where they're going to come down and watch the women play at Rupp Arena. I hear it all throughout the summer, all throughout the year. So I think it's a good formula where we are right now. I think what maybe the next step would be is to move, is to keep a good non-conference game and then maybe go one conference game down there and stretch it to two. But that would be the only things that would be on my mind right now unless somebody else has a better idea. I have great ideas, so sometimes, it's hard for people to come to me because they may not have as good ideas as I have. And they're intimidated by that. That's right, it's true. It's just, so it's hard to approach me sometimes because my ideas are so good.
Is everyone available health-wise for you tomorrow?
We're all healthy and ready to go, and there's a couple of kids that are maybe a little banged up, it's nothing out of the ordinary, or not anything out of the ordinary. And, but we do have one more full-speed practice to go today, so hopefully everything will be good, and we'll be at full strength tomorrow night. But it should be a great night. I think the team, looking at the Louisville game, knows what they need to try to make some improvements, and we need to make those improvements quickly because DePaul will be a tough game. And really appreciate everybody that's bought a ticket and hope we can get a few more people down there tomorrow night. It should be a great game.
Do you start Janae Thompson after that performance?
We still have another practice to go. So I'm not sure who's going to start tomorrow night. I wish I knew.